me. Good morning, Soul Tribe. Good morning. Good morning. Peace to all the gods, all the goddesses, all the energies, all the spirits, all the souls. This is some soul talk. So, usually we talk about astrology. We start off the build with astrology, but we're gonna deal with pure energy today. I'm the Hoodmystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com. Today is July 19th, 2018, and today we're gonna really get into some energy work and some energy talk. And so yesterday was an important, pivotal day in my spiritual development. I experienced a vibration of heart chakra frequency that I've never felt before. I radiated from a spiritual frequency that I've never felt before, and I'm going to tell y'all about it before I get into this energy. And so if y'all been following these energy readings, I told y'all that I started just taking the bus to go places that I wanted to go. And so a lot of things that I talk about on this channel is following your intuition and learning how to follow your intuition and getting past all of your ego shit to really see the truth of your existence. So earlier, when I moved to Columbus in 2012, I didn't have a vehicle, and so I took the bus, and there was a lot of shame in it for me. So it caused a lot of stress, like catching the bus everywhere I needed to go, not knowing where I needed to go, and things of that nature. And it was just like stressful, and I got my own car or whatever. But when I started doing these daily energy readings, I really wanted to take the bus. I wanted to take it. So every day after I got these lives, if I had to go to work or anything like that, I would just simply catch the bus. And so yesterday I caught the bus. And I was leisure with it. I wasn't in no rush. I walked downtown for a little bit, and then I decided to take the bus home from downtown. And so I was on the bus, and I looked, and it was an old friend, and this old friend was in prison for the past 7 years, and it was a female, and we have a history. And I reached out to her. She never really reached back. It was very sensitive, but you know, for all of this time, my deepest desire was to tell her that I loved her, because I felt that she was feeling some form of guilt, but I didn't want her to feel that guilt. I wanted her to know that through her storms, through her darkest times, that, you know, I love her, you know, and not like on no freaky deaky type love, just more or less that my compassion for her and her struggle, because I know her struggle was so real, being in prison. Like, I wanted to love her through that. And so she just got out 2 weeks ago, and the chances of me seeing her and getting a chance to like give her that hug and give her that kiss and tell her I love her and give her my phone number was so gratifying. And so on this channel, when we talk about following your intuition and trusting your spirit and trusting your guides, that's an example in my life. And I always say, you know, it's not about money. Like, and even earlier I was thinking, like, if I had $1 million, would I take $1 million and give up the spirituality? And the answer to that question is absolutely not. Um, Even if I have to take the bus, even if I have to live in the hood, even if I have to be homeless, this path is so gratifying that this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm selling. Intuition and spiritual fulfillment and love of self and love of your family and love of your common man. And so we had this wonderful reunion on the bus, and you know, we hugged, one of the best hugs I ever had. And you know, people were, you know, keep doing the good work, brother, and you know, and that's how. And from, I think from that point, this work that I've been doing and the confirmations in my life, I get them daily. But to me, it was the equivalent of like hitting the lottery. Um, just a little personal story. And so the energy that I really wanted to tap into is Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut, Barbello, Babylon. Okay? And this mess, and then I also want to say, yesterday I mentioned my mother, but I didn't really finish the story. And my mother was actually watching the video, and I think I heard her. But I didn't mean to hurt her. I was just simply stating a fact. But when it comes to facts and love and mothers, I really couldn't ask for a better mother, because everything that I am, every compliment that I receive, every how I treat women, how I talk on YouTube is a result of the way that my mother loved me. So if she's watching today, I just want the world to know, YouTube to know, that I really do appreciate every sacrifice, every word, every book, every record is everything. So yeah, my heart is very open. So excuse me right now. So Hatshepsut, this message is for single women and for guys who have been raised by single women. So when we think about the single woman, we want to remove the negative connotation to the word single mother, or a mother that had to raise her child primarily alone or without the help of a father for whatever reasons. And even for fathers who have to deal with this energy, but mainly women. I told you I bought this Sphinx. Let me see if it'll focus, but the sun is shining on it like it's supposed to. Yeah. So Hatshepsut is the foremost of noble ladies. She is the first woman in history to hold it down. In modern history and modern life. And so when we think of Hatshepsut, we got to think about power. We have to think about grace. We have to think about being more than enough. When we look at our lives and we look at our situations and our children and how are we going to eat and how are we going to make it, our first and foremost, our ideologies, our pathologies have to be that of power. We can't look at it from a perspective of weakness. And so generally, if you are a single mother and if you are dealing with weakness or vulnerability, the deity or the energy to tap into is Hatshepsut. Yesterday, we took a picture of the Sphinx that I took on Instagram. The Hoodmystic on Instagram, if you want to look at it. And we looked at it closer. And in the quartz crystal, there was a figure of a man kneeling to the Sphinx. And so if you look up Sinumet, it's the same image that was like, it's abstract, but you can clearly see it if you compare the two. And Sinumet and Hatshepsut had an interesting relationship. And the reason why I say Hatshepsut, because Hatshepsut is the face of the Sphinx. If you look over ancient Egypt, you see sphinxes with Hatshepsut. And so we want to highlight the divine feminine. We want to look at God as a woman, specifically for empowerment. And not, and this is a matter of fact, this isn't up for debate. I know a lot of times we grew up in church and we imagine God to be a father, but we need not to do that, because once we deal with Hatshepsut, Hatshepsut is an incarnation or an avatar of the deity Barbelo. And the Bible did something interesting with this energy. They took the word Barbelo and turned it into Babylon, and then created a trope on top of Babylon of the great whore. So we have to backtrack. A lot of conscious people I hear talk about, you need to get out of Babylon. You have to get out of the womb. I'm not getting out the womb. I'm going deeper in the womb. And so the Sphinx really represents deeper love, deeper vibrations. It's more or less sex, but sex is in your lower genitals. The energy of sex is in your lower genitals, so that's how you express it. So in this channel with this content, we hopefully want to rise that sexual energy at least up to the heart, so your heart can now fuck. This is perfection. This is satisfaction. This is wholeness. This is the energy of the Sphinx. This is the energy of Hatshepsut. This is not the energy of society. The energy of society will tell you something completely different from what is actually the reality of your existence and your being. Don't want to study Hatshepsut too deeply on the internet, because they'll tell you a whole bunch of negative things about her. You just want to deal with the surface information. If you want to look at the Valley of Kings, you want to look at the Temple of Hatshepsut, do that. Be abstract with it. Don't be so literal and logical, because people type these things about these deities on purpose to distract you from what's really happening. So the energy of the Sphinx is 4 elements: to dare, to will, to have courage, and to be silent. To dare, to will, to have courage, and to be silent. To dare, air. My mind says I should be something more than what I'm doing. Since my mind says that, I'm going to trust my mind, and I'm going to act upon what my mind is saying, and not what society is saying, not what my fear is saying, not what my mama is saying, not what my dad is saying, not what my partner is saying, not what my closest best friend is saying. I'm going to trust my mind connected to source, and I'm going to act upon that, and I'm going to be strong enough to do it. And just like Earth, I'm going to be silent about the moves that I'm making, because I'm not doing shit for people to pat me on the back. I'm doing shit for the fact of satisfaction, wholeness, perfection. I have a deep sexual relationship with life, and my sexual energy does not rest in my lower chakras. We have done enough energy work now that my sexual energy is all throughout my body. So when it comes to sex, when it comes to fucking, I'm not thinking about vagina. I'm thinking about hearts. So that was the energy reading for today. Hope you enjoyed that. That's not just the energy reading. We're still gonna do the tarot. So don't hang up yet. Ten of Cups. Satisfaction. The 10 represents completeness. When we, today, this is the energy of today. Can you be completely satisfied in spirit and allow your intuition to lead you? Because I know you're going through some tough stuff right now. We all are. But can you be satisfied in spirit in the moment to lead you? Or do you want me to feel bad for you? Three of Cups. Three of Cups is we talked about this yesterday, Cancer energy. Cancer energy, we want to simplify that to just really connecting with self. So we're counting down 5, 4, we're at 3 now. 3 more days of Cancer. Can you put your mind on your goals? Can you put your mind on self? Can you allow yourself to just focus on self and then allow that intuition to say, maybe I'll clean up my room. Lust. Sex. Nasty. Is the energy of Leo. Preparation. So we want that deep arousal. Because arousal is you ever been aroused? When you're aroused, your inhibitions are down because you have a goal of some virgin. And so you'll take your clothes off. You wouldn't take your clothes off if you weren't aroused or if you weren't hot. Okay? So what makes you want to take your clothes off? What we're talking about passion. We're talking about leisure and enjoying yourself and not being bound by time. If you're bound by time, this conversation is like, whatever, dude. I gotta go to work. You taking all day. What's the next card? 2 of disc, my friend. When you expand and you trust their source, you naturally expand. When you're open to the messages that spirit has for you. And generally, you cannot be open to the messages that spirit has for you unless you're down and out. So you'll listen to what I'm saying, but you'll have a good ass job. So that good ass job is more important than what a weird dude on YouTube is saying. But I'm not saying anything outside of you expanding yourself. Anything past that is fair game. You do that. Like that's the goal of these conversations, is for the individual listening to this to get in tune with self. And whatever comes of that, I'm accepting of that, because that's the energy return or the energy exchange. That's my goal. So Jupiter energy. Dang it. I gotta look something up online for y'all after I go through these cards, because there's one thing that I forgot and I need to figure it out. 6 of Wands, and I meant to look it up before I went on live. Y'all gonna have to forgive me, because we're gonna have to talk about Jupiter real quick before we get off this live. Six of Wands, Jupiter and Leo. So we still connected. We still together. We still understanding that our deeper expansion, our deeper love is not from a sexual place. If we can simply rise our energy up and start to fuck with our hearts and connect with our hearts, then that sexual energy, it's that lower energy, it'll just be a thing. And then my wife, she's always confirming things, and sometimes it's aggravating. I don't even respond, because if I respond, it's like we're conspiring before we do these videos, but we're not. Everything is spirit led, so a lot of times I'm silent, but I'm really listening. Ace of Discs, a gift from spirit. Once you fully align with it and trust it, outside of, well, I'm living with my mom, or, well, I got fired, well, I was molested when I was 7, well, I was married for 40 years and he got divorced, what am I gonna do? Well, you know, death. Let's talk about death, because that's what I need to look up real quick. I won't take doing Pluto. Here we go. That wasn't bad at all. So Cerebrus. A couple days ago, I was talking about Jupiter and his 12 trials, and how Jupiter was retrograde and now is back direct, and now he's going through Scorpio, and Scorpio is Pluto, and Pluto is where Cerebrus is, and that's what before Hercules became a god, he defeated the 3 wolves. If you've seen the movie, you probably wonder, like, what did that mean? Like, how did this movie end with him killing the 3 wolves? Well, it was symbolic, because the Cerebrus represents our lives and our pain, and the only thing that's blocking us from immortality. And those 3 things are nature, because it's a wolf with 3 heads, but they had 3 wolves in the movie, but the history is a Cerebrus and wolf with 3 heads. So nature, cause and accident. Death, you either die by nature, you either die because you cause it, or you either die by accident. Either way is something that you have to get over, because matter of factly, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, death doesn't exist. Death is something that you've been taught. Death is something that you believe in. It is a system that creates sadness, creates fear, creates anxiety, creates negative vibrations. So the people that institute it, think about where churches, I didn't mean to say that, but think about where funerals are held and the people who preside over them. These people feed off of that energy, but the reality of death is that it does not exist. There is a connection to spirit, there is a connection to ancestors that is available to you, but in your mind, if you view it as something as real and as matter of fact, then you'll miss the whole point. So it's important to understand that death is not real. So as we connect with these deities and we connect with these spirits, and you may be feeling the loss of a loved one, that loved one has not been lost. You're just lost. And when we want to think about dead people, the dead people on this earth are alive, because they can't understand this consciousness. They can only understand their lower nature in a material world. So this was a lot of information, and this was really from a result of my spiritual development, which really went to another level. I think yesterday all I could really do was just lay in bed and feel my heart vibrating. If you ever experienced that, leave your experiences in the comments. But this has been the energy reading for July 19, 2018. It's miraculous energy available to you if you would just be open to it. If you're concerned about the negative things in your life, this is something that you really need to deal with. And I hope this message was like a stream of consciousness and it made sense and it resonated. If you need to contact me, you can do so at hoodmystic@gmail.com. Also, the website is www.hoodmystic.com. Patreon.com/hoodmystic, paypal.me/TheHoodMystic, Cash App Hoodmystic38. Just some spiritual awareness, spiritual guidance. There's a lot of names in here, so if you would just like listen passively, make sure you go back, listen, write the names down that I wrote, and deal with the energy yourself, because that's what it's about. I dealt with the energy, but you gotta kind of deal with the energy. How I dealt with Hatshepsut, I really just sat on my porch and I just really thought about her, and then she began to show me single mothers and things of that nature. So peace to all of the ancestors, peace to everybody before me and those after me. And I just really want to continue this message, and I thank you for all the support, all the patronage, all the people that even sit and listen to this message. Is really fulfilling. It keeps me going. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The deepest love, the deepest sexual love from my heart to yours. Peace.